Okay.
Anyway, I recorded that. That's bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay. I think the whole point is to get that sign, but whatever.
You
I'll switch it
go
around.
from there and go like this. It's a beautiful song they're playing for us.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Hey there, Sea Milk.
Hello.
You know, one of your favorite topics that you like to bring up quite often are factories.
Yeah, that is just probably my passion in life, really. Industry and the movement of goods.
I thought it was more the manufacturer
of
goods.
Oh, that's actually an inside joke that I'll quickly explain. Winston keeps turning on the TV to these, like, how it's made shows.
Oh,
and
right.
unlike most people, I really don't care. I just like the product. I mean, there's some interest. I like fixing bikes with you and stuff like that, but like how buttons are made and stuff, I really just don't care.
All right, I got you.
Know what I mean?
I got you.
That's where they're being made. They're being made here.
I don't like that show, by the way.
Oh,
it's very boring.
I think
the
you're putting it on to
super
troll
boring.
me.
Yeah, pretty much. But I do enjoy seeing how things are made, though.
Sure.
Anyway, we're here in Vietnam, and we've just driven through some pretty industrial areas. So lots of factories. You can see a lot of trucks are barreling up and down over here, carrying goods. And there's a lady with popcorn on her scooter.
Yeah. And there's bees.
No, that's just, I don't know what that is.
Anyway.
Yes. So there's this whole question of whether or not Vietnam is going to be the new China as far as taking over the world's manufacturing.
And thus far, it certainly looks like it. So we're going to get into the details.
Yeah, let's get in the details. So we're going to hit the road and talk about it.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah. There's like 3 coming. Oh yeah, and they're like passing on the... It does. Whoa. Let's do it. Can you do me a very quick favor?
Sure.
Can you make this go away?
Yep. We'll see how long it lasts.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to make it a long-lasting solution.
I don't think it's long enough to do anything, but...
I know, it's probably a bad idea. There we go. Sorted.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Ciao.
Okay, we're still rolling, eh?
Yep.
All right, you go ahead and then I'll pass you. See, I'm filming you go through the gate. Ah, look at that gate.
Very Soviet.
It is. I mean, anything that's got that communist flag looks Soviet, you know.
And that gray tile stuff.
Yes.
It's very impressive. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me. The air is not great, and there's a reason for that. If you had gone through this area about 10 years ago, the air would not be like this. And that is because there wasn't any industry. It was just agriculture that you still see. It exists.
Yeah, of course.
But what we saw in China when we first moved there was Guangdong, and it still is to some extent, Guangdong province in the south was the world's factory.
Sure, it still is. Let's be honest.
No, that's what I just said. But
yeah. Hey, look, coffee in the middle of nowhere.
Isn't that crazy?
That's what I was talking about in my coffee video. I love it. Anyway, sorry, continue.
So, yeah, you're not going to find that in China. So, basically, it is still the world's factory, but much, much more so back then. To the point where when I would go, outside, I'd notice that there was quite a thick smog in the air. And that is what we see here now. And that is
look
because...
at these. These are new factories being built on the side here. And I have no idea what they're manufacturing here.
New
but
Vision.
I see what? Oh, New Vision.
They're making eyes. I saw a bunch on the way too. There's a lot of electronics companies, there's PVC companies, all kinds of good stuff like that. So we're looking at this kind of huge boom in northern Vietnam of factories and industry because, why?
There's a couple of reasons. Number one, China's just becoming too expensive. Okay? China, its whole boom has kind of slowed down. Gone are the days where you could go and set up a factory, and the cost of tooling the factory, setting up the factory, hiring the workers and all that is less than just hiring a couple of local guys at home, It's also become a very sort of dangerous environment to work in as far as intellectual property is concerned. The Chinese government has for the longest time kind of done forced IP transfers. So you want to set up a factory, okay, but you need to have like a certain percentage must be owned by a Chinese person or a Chinese company, and you must share your secrets, your trade secrets, up to a certain amount. Even when it's kind of illegal, they still kind of under the table make you do it, you know. Not only that, like, the risk is huge because there's so much incentive for your intellectual property to be stolen, and also the huge amount of nationalism. You don't even need to pay people to do it, they'll just do it anyway, you know. They'll go tell their uncle, hey, this is how it works, you know.
Right. We're supposed to go straight here?
Yeah, we're going straight. No, next big kind of road, we're taking a left somewhere. Anyway, so from an intellectual property point of view, it's kind of dangerous to deal with China these days. It's becoming too expensive to deal with China, and also arbitrary rules and laws. Come on. There we go.
You just said thank you in Vietnamese.
I did, come on. Yeah, but the arbitrary rules, because one day China decides, oh, no, we're just going to confiscate your factory because, you know, you're Canadian, and Canada arrested someone who's Chinese. You know, so you know what I'm getting at there.
Right.
It's not a good environment for business. And in fact, I'll put it down here right now. Every single person that I know who's got some kind of business dealing with China has regretted it.
Okay.
In the long run.
I can't disagree with you there.
In the beginning, it's awesome. They lure you in with cheap labor and
big investment money.
Very skilled people. That's the thing. Chinese people are very smart and they're very skilled. That's probably one of the biggest things that keeps getting overlooked here is people think, oh, it's cheap labor, but it's not that.
No.
It's the fact that Chinese people are smart.
They're wicked good at stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And they're very good at doing very complex tasks. And that's also why China's been in such demand, especially when it comes to electronics.
There's another
anyway,
factory.
Why do you think people want to move here?
I actually asked you that question, but you did a good job explaining why they're leaving China.
So why would they want to come here then?
They would want to come here because now you can get those China labor prices, you know, if not cheaper than it was even before. And there's a huge population of also very skilled laborers with the, you know, very good education system in comparison to places in Africa and things like in India, right?
Yeah.
Where most people go to school, they have a general. That's horrible, by the way.
Yeah,
it's just a
burning plastic
pile of plastic. Oh God,
it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Don't eat the fruit around here.
No, don't eat the fruits. Plastic fruit.
Oh my God.
This is maybe where they make that decorative plastic fruit.
Yeah.
It's just real
out of
fruit.
Those burning bags, and
it just grows out of the ground because of that.
Anyway,
go ahead.
They basically they can get those cheap labor prices, right? And you have, like I said, good education system here, pretty educated populace, cheap and poor, and that just is a recipe for production. Number two, you don't have the issues or as many issues with IP theft, and from what I've been talking to people about, there is more government incentive here to protect international IPs because they are so desperate to get these companies in here, right?
Right.
Whereas in China, we've talked about this many times, they think that they've already got it good enough. They're trying to promote a domestic-based economy.
Yeah.
Vietnam's like, we will take the slack and do it better and cheaper, and this will, you know, remove so many of our people out of poverty. There's 100 million people here, right?
Right.
So for them, it makes a lot of sense to put a lot more protection for these foreign companies in here. And it's actually funny because you're seeing, even though the countries don't have good relations, you're seeing Chinese companies move here too. So a couple of TV factories that I know, TCL and Hisense, have some of their biggest headquarters here near Hanoi.
Right.
And it's just cheaper for them to hire Vietnamese people instead of Chinese people.
Yeah.
They get almost the same, you know, work output, but they pay them about 7 times less.
Yeah, it's quite crazy that, and it makes total sense when you see how cheap it is to live here compared to China. I mean, honestly, like what we pay $1.50 for a coffee and a sandwich.
I know. And it's insane here.
It's ridiculous. The same thing in China would cost you about $10 you know, for the same quality thing. So yeah, it's way cheaper here, and so yes, you can hire cheaper people. Makes sense. But it's having a detriment here to the environment. I mean, look at the pollution. I'm not going to lie. This has been awful. I haven't seen during our trip so far a single blue sky nice day.
Well, I mean, it just looks like China.
Yeah, it looks like China when I first got there. And well, China if you go to a third tier city type thing.
Right.
Like Dongguan or something.
Well, even
but,
first tier if you're up north.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, that's the thing though. Over the many years I've been in China, I have seen it improve. Down south in Shenzhen.
Right.
Every once in a while though, it'll go back to normal, and I'll be like, okay, where did all this improvement go? You know,
Right.
It's back to the bad old days.
Right.
But yeah, I can see the exact same thing happening here. But with that, I also see the energy and the opportunity and the growth that I first saw in China that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's super attractive because look at that little cow. You know, you come into the city, a little cow down there too. You come into the cities here and you just see that energy, you know, that China currently lacks, you know.
Right. Right.
So it's positive and a negative, but basically
it's a poor country that is excited to start making money.
Yes, to start to grow and assert itself on the world stage.
Right.
And I think we are going to see a lot more people moving over here because it is becoming too restrictive as a foreign company to work in China. The rules are just becoming not worth it, basically.
Right.
And I think China forgets that it's actually the choice of the foreign company whether or not they want to invest in your country or not.
Yeah.
It's not just a given. It's not like, oh, you are going to do it because you have to. You know
I
what
mean, the very simple reality of that, it makes a lot of sense what you just said, is that if they can get, like you said, the skilled labor thing, if they can get that invention, that blueprint, right, the methodology and the quality control idea down, then why deal with the outside world and pay more, right? So they'll take it and make it themselves. That's why you get knockoffs. That's why you'll never see a product that was fully from the ground up invented in China.
No,
like
not
look
at all.
People say, oh, woman, the Xiaomi phones, that's our Chinese. No, there's not one Chinese freaking thing in there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like obviously, and that's how inventions and technology works, but you can't just say, hey, this is ours, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we made everything in this, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why you're going to see countries like Vietnam that actually do have fairly good control on their population, unlike India, which can be quite a mess.
Yeah.
With all the different ideologies and stuff.
We probably... No, I don't want to go down that road. It looks terrible.
You don't want to go down there, yeah. It looks pretty bad. Do you see that?
The next one.
There's a Japanese factory right there.
Yes, I saw a couple, actually. There was a... It's interesting just to see this, and
this
I
is
guess,
a steel region.
I think we've got the Eiffel Tower over here.
The Eiffel radio tower.
Actually, yeah, it does look like the Eiffel Tower, doesn't it?
But yeah, look at these kids. I mean, going to their factory jobs, you know. Before they were helping mom and dad cut the bananas off the tree, you know.
I mean, it's the same as China. It's
literally the same.
Yeah, the same sort of thing. So yes, I think to answer the question, is Vietnam going to become the new China? I think so. To a certain extent. To a certain extent, they will. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing how that all works out, because I think Vietnam has a lot of potential, just like China had a lot of potential. And look what China managed to achieve with all the help of all the industry coming in there.
On the flip side of that, I really, really hope there's some ethics in what they do with the environment, because it looks like they're heading in the exact same path, like rush for growth.
Yeah.
That's kind of disappointing, because this really just looks like rural Guangdong, where there's factories everywhere.
And bear in mind, it's probably about like 11 a.m. or something.
Right.
You know, this is not midnight. We're not driving around at night or late evening. This is the midday. You know. Yeah, so what is that sign?
That sign means that we're going into a village.
Oh, okay. It means there are buildings ahead. Watch out. It's not just farms.
They're gonna get you. Whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe
anyway.
like some of the villagers out in the countryside, they don't know what to do. They like look up and they crash or something.
Yeah, that's right. Who knows? Yeah, so anyway, is there anything you'd like to tell our subscribers before we wrap this episode up?
I think, what do you guys obviously think? Leave your comments down below. Do you agree? Do you think Vietnam might be a semblance of the new a new China in terms of industry and stuff? But what I want to say is that I think everyone in the world should be rooting for development, ethical development for every nation. Everyone deserves something, right?
Yeah.
No one deserves poverty.
No.
With the right work ethic and the right principles, government, and just the kind of right society,
Yeah.
I think everyone in the world will end up with a kind of decent living standard, and it's just getting better, you know?
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter how much doom and gloom people like to profess, the world's never been a better place than it is now, so.
I fully agree, and yes, we are supposed to go left here.
Okay. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy. We'll sign off with these big propaganda posters about Ho Chi Minh and working together.
The Viet Cong Bank.
The Viet Cong Bank with communist propaganda. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I guess might mean communist.
Well, yeah, maybe it does.
You know?
Yeah.
There's a KTV there.
Yeah, it's not
Liberty Bar.
You couldn't pay me to go in there.
That looks like bad things would happen.
Anyway, I mean, honestly, I'm enjoying being able to see all this stuff firsthand, and that's
Yeah, me too.
That's kind of what we do. Is we go out and we explore, and we do this so that we can see it and speak from experience rather than just conjecture. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's it going, guys? Hi, nice to meet you. Good to meet you. Yeah, very nice to meet you. Cheers. Cool. You guys have a good day. Yeah, let's get a selfie.
That's nice. All right, let's go.
All right. Bye-bye. Stay safe out there.
Excuse me. But yeah.
Sorry, yeah. And as always, just like those guys on the scooter there, I wish them all the best, and I certainly hope that they have a bright future ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they can at least have coffee in the middle of these little places. Until then, you know the drill, as always. Stay awesome. There they go. Don't crash, guys. You got a bright future ahead of you.
These kids are nuts.
He doesn't. He's just an asshole. Anyway, stay awesome. Don't forget, every single Monday, another ADV China video right here, same time, same place. On Wednesday, you can check out Lawa 86, 1 p.m. EST, and Friday, just in time for a beer going, check me out on my channel, Serpent ZA.